one. Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to unleash the power of girls in STEM. How exciting is that? Let's get this one started. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Look, a business can give you everything you want in life. Prestige, wealth, freedom. It can also take everything away from you. This show is for those who are willing to take that risk. These are the real life stories of entrepreneurs. But before we start, I have one small favor to ask. Please leave a comment. It can be advice, critiques, tips, feedback, or share this with someone because your engagement is the most valuable and most powerful form of social currency. So thank you, and welcome to another episode of Business Bros. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're diving into a world where young girls are turning their STEM dreams into reality. By the way, STEM, science, technology, education, or engineering, and math, right? That's what STEM stands for. So, today's guest is the architect behind a revolutionary online club that is empowering the next generation of female leaders. From hands-on learning to breaking through the glass ceiling, she's transforming the way young women engage with science, technology, engineering, and math. So get ready to be inspired by the founder of Be Athenian, Miss Loxley Browne. All right, Loxley, round 2 on the Business Bros podcast. Thanks for coming back.
Yes, and I love being back to talking about this because it has changed so much in the 2 years since I was on your show, and we have accomplished so much. It's just incredible. So I can't wait to dive in and start talking about it all. So ask me a question. I'm ready.
All right. Well, let's start with the behind the scenes stuff, right? So tell me about the inception and what drove you to just even get started.
You know, I've always been the only woman in a room. And, you know, I grew up in construction, was raised on a farm. I was driving bulldozers, tractors, everything. And throughout my entire career, and I've had a 30-year career so far. Yes, thank you for finding the fountain of youth. I've managed to drink that water, and I can still keep on going and inspire teenagers to, you know, listen to an older, wiser adult who really wants to help them. So, you know, when I was in San Diego, I came up with this idea in 2019. Now, 3 months later, after getting into the second largest school district in the state of California, we went through that lovely global pandemic called COVID, and I had to change my mindset. I was trying to start it local and grow it, you know, do everything they teach you in entrepreneurial classes, you know, get your marketing behind it, you know, show yourself, show your growth, show, you know, that the market wants this. Well, I had to instantly do the pandemic pivot and take this online, which then grew us nationally. So overnight, we have hundreds of girls from across the USA saying, hey, we need some stability. We need a community. We are excited about STEM. We want to get our hands dirty. We want to learn everything we can. We want to know which career path to go down. And over the past 4 years, we have managed to evolve and grow. And that's one of the great things I love about this business. If you're sticking with the very first thing you put down in your first business plan, you're stagnant. You're going to die. You've got to change and evolve with whatever gets thrown at you. Did any of us know this was going to happen? You know, no. I had just swapped from being in the startup sector, the for-profit sector that I had been in my entire life, to nonprofit, which is totally different verbiage. It's a totally different outlook. And, you know, everybody looks at you and goes, oh, well, just go find a donor for that. You don't need money because you're a nonprofit. And I'm looking at them going, this is a company. This is, you know, we have to have money to keep the lights on. So, you know, we have to treat this like a business. And in order for me to get the right people behind us and to teach these girls what they need to know, we have to have the financial stability. So we have continued to grow and evolve. We have actually moved to a new city. So the company is now based in Huntsville. So our tagline, yeah. So, I mean, that was a cross-country move that I had not projected would ever happen. I knew it would happen years from now, but I didn't know it would happen within the first 5 years of starting the company. And we grew from, being automotive based to now it's everything from race cars to rockets.
Anything that moves fast. That's what it's all about. Now, you said something that caught my attention, the pandemic pivot. I've never heard it called that. That was the first time. I'm going to steal it from you, by the way. I'm going to use that from now on. So I think that's a great line. But you did have to make a big change. And a lot of us had to make some changes. And not only were you dealing with the fact that there's a lot of programs out there that are STEM related, but then you had to shift from a very hands-on to an online-based platform that had to be big. What makes you guys different? What makes your program different from some of those other STEM programs that are out there?
So the big thing about Athenian is this is girls only. So when you become a member of Athenian, you then get brought into the clubhouse, and it's girls only, and they're STEM loving girls. And it's fantastic when we have our in-person events. So for instance, Andretti, DHL, and Jamie Chadwick hosted us at the Gallagher Grand Prix at the Indianapolis Speedway. And I brought in girls from across the USA for this. They had never met each other. They had talked online a couple of times, but they had never met in person. And we get there, and DHL just did an incredible job for us. They ended up busing us from Indianapolis to Cincinnati so that we could go behind the scenes of the DHL hub that's there. And these girls they're all clustered in the back of the bus, chatting away with each other. The leaders and the parents and I are sitting up at the front of the bus, and we're talking. I'm just looking back there going, that is what happens when you get teenagers who have the same mindset and the same love for learning together. They're just going to grow, and they're going to have that confidence, and they're going to know they're surrounded by girls who, like them, love getting their hands dirty and love everything in technology and engineering and designing, and they want to fabricate things. I have a 9th grader. She was there with me. She missed her first day of high school to go do this. Since then, she has now rebuilt her first engine and sold it for $900. And she's only in 9th grade.
That's what I'm talking about, though. But those are applicable skills. Look, I'm a high school teacher. I know there are a lot of things that are in our curriculum that you're never, ever going to use again. But some of the skill sets that you're teaching the kids, they're going to use it over and over again. I'll tell you what, I can't rebuild an engine. I could change the oil. I don't. I still take it to the dealership to do the oil change. I can change my tire. I don't. I call AAA to come over and get it done. Right. But the skill set has to be there in case something ever goes down the road. You have that capability and can turn it into some sort of monetary thing. Now, the cool thing about being online is you had the opportunity to have girls from all over come together. Right. And that's in and of itself super fascinating. But how do you make sure that you have access, that girls from all over different backgrounds have access to this stuff? Because traditionally, race car driving and being in the industry isn't for everybody. It's exclusive to those who have that green behind them. You're opening up the door. How do you make it accessible for everybody? How do you continue to do that for all those different girls?
So we have this structure so that it's online. So we are working with girls that are in the most rural areas. As long as you have Wi-Fi and a device, you can get on there and join us. And the monthly membership fee, and I changed our business model. It gets really tiring walking around knocking on doors asking people to be a sponsor, because I have had the door slammed in my face more times than Colonel Sanders ever did. So let me tell you, this girl does not take no for an answer.
But you're not a chicken.
No, thankfully, I would be fried by now. But I've changed the business model, and I approached the girls with the whole Shark Tank talk. They have now a $25 a month membership fee, and that covers the basis. And when we get to a certain amount of girls, that's going to cover our annual budget. So it then shows any investor, any donor, any corporation that wants to get involved, that these girls have invested in their future themselves. They are the ones who are bringing Athenian to life because they are providing the basic monetary support that we need in order to be a functional corporation. Now, with that, they also get to do other different activities, and those are different activity fees on top of that. But it's all dependent upon what they want to do. Not every girl's going to want to get her hands greasy and dirty. Some are, some aren't. Some want to do more technology related, some want to do more computer based. And we bring in experts, industry experts, to talk to them about all of these different things they can do related to transportation, because it's going to take the communication, the engineer, the entrepreneur, the businesswoman, the finance person, the designer, the graphic. It takes all of these different career types to run just one company. So when you start thinking about, oh, there's flight, there's all of the boats and the marine based transportation, there's rail, and we're going to be doing that at Fab Camp this year for the first time. There's trucks. Like, I would love to get my CDL. I think that would be a blast to be able to go out there and drive a big rig, because I've gone from San Diego to Laguna Seca in a big rig that was pulling $1 million of cars behind it. I think that would be the most fun ever. And you never know when you're going to need something like that. So for those who do want to get their hands really dirty and learn everything they can about driving, because I'm always telling them, learn how to drive everything you can. Learn how to drive a stick, because when you do travel abroad, the only cars you're going to be able to get into are going to be manual transmission. They're not going to be automatics. They don't do that in Asia or in Europe. They're still very dependent upon a manual transmission. So this summer, for the first time ever, we are offering Driving Academy to 10 select members. 20, I'm sorry. I have my camps mixed up because I have another special camp coming up that I can't even talk about yet. But the Driving Academy, the applications are due by April the 10th, and we're going to select 20 Athenians, and then we are going to be based at the Atlanta Motorsports Park, which if you go look at their website, it is like the high-end country club of driving. It has one of the nicest tracks, the nicest karting track in the world, designed by F1 racetrack designer. And we're going to spend a week there, and the girls are going to be totally submerged in learning proper training in a kart from professionals. And then the most fun, and I can't wait to do this, they also have the Drive Strong program, which teaches teenagers defensive driving. So we are going to be in a BMW on the skid pad, sliding sideways a couple of times, teaching them how to react to the things that are going to happen to them on the street. So this is just one of the programs.
That is awesome. And I kind of want to interject here a little bit, because I mean, you mentioned, the girls are here at a $25 a month program. And if you get a certain amount of girls, that'll cover your annual overhead. But these events that you're putting together still cost money. And a nonprofit does need that lifeblood to continue to do great things like this. The opportunities that you're providing aren't coming for free. I mean, yes, you get people that donate their time and different things like that, but you still need help from the outside to get this done. What can people do?
So we do have on our website, you can see there are sponsorship opportunities where we do need people's support right now, especially to bring these summer events to life. And then, I am always saying it just takes that one visionary philanthropist who understands what I'm trying to do and how I am working to teach our future leaders all of the different skills that they will need, skills that you and I can't even predict that they will need 20 years from now. So you got to learn the basics. You've got to learn how to learn in order to be prepared to have just that skill set you can fall back on when you're having to learn all of the new technology and everything that's going to be developed for the world 20 years from now. So, I'm always just, asking corporations to get involved, because one, this is the best way for them to train their employees of the future. We are the teenage recruitment firm. So, if they get different corporate initiatives involved in what we're doing, they show us the type of training they need for their future workforce. We can set up Athenians to go straight out of high school into an apprenticeship program with them, or specific training with them, and then have them in their workforce within the next 5 to 7 years. And that is something that, I keep hearing there's not enough workforce out there for what has to be done. Well, start with teenagers who want to learn, who are trying to figure out what they're going to do with their life, and they have certain passions. And when we can bring out that passion in them and match it with the right employer, it is a win-win for everybody involved. And then you've got this little group of girls, and I'm just, when I went to college, I started in design. Sherwin Williams was my go-to spot because they came into our college and they talked to us about colors, and I still go to them because of that. You develop a loyalty when you show support for students and for the programs that they're in. That loyalty is going to follow your company throughout that person's life because you were there for them at the beginning. And that's a very important thing to me. Everybody who knows me knows I'm like one of the most loyal people you'll ever meet. I will go out of my way when there's loyalty involved because I know what that person has done for me in the past. And these Athenians are the same way. These are the little girls that everybody looks at me and goes, oh, teenagers, how can you work with teenagers?
I know. I get that a lot.
I'm like, you need to read this book because this is life right now through the eyes of a 15-year-old. Now, the funny thing is, all of my friends who know me and have known me for decades are like, you just wrote the story of your life. I'm like, you don't know how much of that is real and how much of that is made. You know, a little bit of it's real, but you don't know how much of it. So, with the book, it allows me the opportunity to talk to 1 million people at one time versus having to talk to 1 million people one at a time.
And there is money out there. I mean, literally this week in the news, there was $1 billion donation to a school in the Bronx so that people can go to medical school for free. Right.
Yes.
So there's definitely $1 billion, not with a B, right? Like that's a lot of money. That's going to be a lot of doctors that are going to have the opportunity that otherwise wouldn't have had the opportunity to go to medical school. And at my high school, we have very good athletic programs. But the reason why they exist is because there's feeder programs that are training the kids since they're little. So by the time they get to high school, they're fiercely competitive. We're picking from the cream of the crop. And that's exactly what you're doing here. And this is why companies, especially, if you're an engine-based company, if you got wheels or something like that, you're definitely going to want to contribute to a program like this because they're training the future. It's the feeder program that's going to give you the quality of employment, the loyalty of employment that you're looking for. I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. Let me ask you about the collaboration, the network that you're building. You talked about how the girls were huddled in the back of the bus. You talked about how they talked a little bit online, but they've never met each other. What ways are you kind of collaborating and creating the support that they have with one another through this private network?
So on our Clubhouse, they have the opportunity, and these are all vetted girls who are members and have sent in their application. They have the opportunity to work with each other. We also do secret sessions where in the future, during Fab Camp, they're going to be helping to craft the storyline of the books that come out because this is not the only one. I am, that very gullible for Athenian mindset. And I wrote the first one, and I'm going to write a new book every single month to help them along that path. So with the secret sessions that we do, it's them helping with marketing for the company, them, creating some type of portfolio piece that they need to help them get into the internship or college of their choice. And we work on those things together. It's all done through our Clubhouse. It's on an app so they can, live stream through that. That's where we're also going to be hosting our virtual Fab Camp 2024 this summer too. And this Fab Camp is our 5th summer in a row of doing this. It's going to have a fantastic keynote speaker every single day of the week. And then 5 different pre-recorded segments so that we can cover all of the information from 9 o'clock in the morning until 1:30 in the afternoon, regardless of whether you're on the West Coast or whether you're on the East Coast. So you wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning, you get involved, you're either going to be doing the pre-recorded sessions or you're going to wake up and you're going to do the keynote first thing. But that's one of the ways that, they have that opportunity during that time to connect with each other and connect with the speaker through the Q&A and really get to know each other there. But then also there's points involved because you always want to be going for that goal. So we get them to set their goals for the year. And every single thing that they do results in points, which, if you're in a job, it's not called points. It's called getting a paycheck because you completed the jobs that you needed to do. So
that's how it works.
And that I'm trying to teach them that same kind of mindset as a teenager. You're not going to, when you're an adult, you're not going to have somebody to go, here's your lunch for you. I did your laundry for you. Oh, by the way, you need to go to the doctor on Friday. Oh, here's, your allowance for the month.
Wait a minute.
It doesn't happen like that when
Wait a minute.
move.
I do that for my wife. What are you talking about?
Somewhere I missed out on that. But anyway. Yeah, so I'm trying to teach them through points and doing the portfolio pieces, which then also helps them get into the right internships, into the right colleges, just to be able to talk to people. Last summer, we built an e-bike as our Fab Camp project. Now, imagine rolling this e-bike into an interview you're having with your first job that you ever do. If I saw anybody roll into my office and then sit down and explain how they had just built a bike themselves, I wouldn't talk. I would just look at them and go, you're hired. I don't know
Hands
where I'm
down.
going to put you. You're hired.
That's a way that you walk into an organization and like set yourself apart from the competition. Everybody has a resume. Here's what I actually did. How do you like that? So we've talked about a lot of different stuff today. We talked about how the kids connected, the different events that are going on, the different ways that people can contribute and sponsor. But there's also ways that you can contribute that aren't necessarily money related, but knowledge related. So how can industry experts play a role in your program? How can professionals get involved?
So I've just had a full day of podcasting myself because I now have my podcast, Get Your Hands Dirty. And luckily I have a good friend that works at IBM, and she put word out to all of her fellow employees that, hey, if you have experience in transportation, you need to be on this podcast, and then you need to help spread the word. And I have had some of the best guests on today for that. But then also with every month we do behind the scenes tours. And so, in I believe it's September, we're going to be touring Alvan. In October, we're going to be at Redstone Arsenal. In November, we're going to be out in San Diego at Qualcomm and HRE Wheels. So those are also opportunities where we then get to take the girls behind the scenes to show them how things are made and how things are done and give them some of that hands-on experience. So I always need companies to step up for that. But then we also, during our camps, our monthly meetings, we invite different industry experts in to speak on a topic. So for those of you who love sharing your knowledge the way that I do, this is a really great time for you to get in there and say, hey, I didn't, have that straight path to this, and this is what I learned along the way, and here are the different things that I've done. And the girls always love to have that ability to connect. This person does something the same way. They love math. They did this, they also are a singer or they play the guitar. And so it gives the girls the chance to connect a human trait that somebody that they admire does, and then also connect that career to them too. So they go, oh, well, I can do that. I understand math and I understand this. And that really excites me. So let me dive into that career and see how I could become that. So, that's the speakers that we have for our different events. Those are the ones that just, and like me, if you love to talk about what you love to do, that passion shines through, and that really ignites the younger generation. They go, okay, this is something I never thought about. Now I want to go do it.
Yep. That excitement is contagious for sure. I mean, that's why some of those doors don't get slammed in your face. Just that energy alone. I'm like, hey, look, she's got the passion. Answer the question, volunteer the time, send the check, do what you need to do, because that energy is getting not only infectious to those people who are donating, but that's what is making your program successful. That's what the girls are really feeding on. And you give them that opportunity to excel in their own energy, to bring out the energy within them and share it and learn. So I've had the distinct pleasure of meeting you prior to all this stuff happening, the pandemic pivot happening, all these different things. Compared to where you were and where you are today, it's light years different. But where do you see the future of your program? Maybe in the STEM community or in the automotive or mechanical industry?
We have a lot of great announcements that are going to be happening in April. I can't say them yet. That are actually going to be based in San Diego. But for the future, I really want to build us a farm. I want us to have a place where we can build things and blow them up and race them and test them. Whether it's building something that goes out on the lake, maybe it sinks, we have to pull it out. Who knows? But just having that shop and having a shop for each land, air, and sea transportation specialty, and just basically have a year-round camp experience for these little girls who want to get in there and fabricate and learn how to build things, and to have that platform to jump off from there and go work for an airline or work for Boeing or work for Regent Craft, or maybe they want to go down the military route, but they need to have some hands-on experience just learning about fabrication. Or one of the very first girls that joined Athenian wanted to be in the FBI, but she wants to be the one who's driving the car in the FBI. And so there's all these different experiences they want to have. And me growing up on a farm and knowing how great that is for a kid to have that type of experience, that's why I've named it the farm. And now that we're based in the South, land is a little bit more plentiful, and it is easier to get permitting passed and buildings built in my lifetime so that I can actually see this happen. So I'm very excited to be establishing that footprint here, because we're now establishing between Huntsville, Birmingham, Atlanta, and Nashville, and really setting the precedents here to grow and have a great presence of Athenians. And with that, then we'll be able to, 5 years from now, start building the farm and be able to gather them there. And I used to love going to camp in the summertime. I begged and pleaded to basically be gone all summer, and I want to establish a farm like that where the girls are begging their parents to let them go do whatever activity that we throw out there at them.
You keep them occupied, you keep them having fun. It's going to make it a lot easier for kids to want to go to these things, because at the end of the day, like, you know what? I mean, I can scroll and look at TikToks all day long. It's just not really that fun. If I'm around other girls that are doing and have the same passion that I have, that sounds like a good time for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Before we head out, because we got time running low, how can people reach out? They want to work with you. They want to get the book. They want to donate. They want to be part of the program. How can they do that?
Go on to beathenian.org. You'll see the website address below. Everything is there. You can buy the book there. You can register your daughter to become a member. Find out more about the Driving Academy. Look at Fab Camp. Go through the whole entire website. It's packed, packed full of information. And for those who want to hear me speak about this book and everything that I do, I also do visits and talks and keynote talks. So would love to come join anyone at their corporate event or at a school and really help the girls dive in more to all of the careers that they can explore and discover when we show them everything that moves the world.
100%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, beathenian.org is the website scrolling across the bottom. You can find them on social as well, Be Athenian. And look, at the end of the day, you're doing some great work, Loxley. You're doing amazing things. The girls, I mean, I see pictures of what you're doing, and they're having a great time. There's a little special place in heaven for people like you who do things for so many others. You're making an impact, and I really appreciate what you're up to. So, ladies and gents, one more time, beathenian.org, beathenian.org. Check it out. See how you can help. Be a part of the program, part of the solution. Just like Loxley, that passion is gonna get you. I promise you. Have a conversation. It's gonna happen. Oh, and one more thing. If you want to hear more about what she's up to, she's got a podcast now, right? Get your hands dirty. That's what it's all about, and meeting some great people. So make sure you guys check that out as well. Loxley, thank you very much for being on the program today. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. And we're out.
Thank you.
It's over. Go home. Is your business in need of marketing? Try starting a podcast. But not just any podcast. Podcast like a pro. We can show you how to take your business from being invisible to becoming a brand people trust. Go to www.businessbros.com